Imagine driving down a lonely road in the dead of night, surrounded by nothing but thick woods. You pass an old, crumbling mansion with windows darkened by time. It's Carthem Manor, a place steeped in mystery, and the locals won't talk about it. You feel a chill as you notice something moving behind the mansion's broken windows, but it's gone before you can fully register it. What's going on inside Carthem Manor? What secrets does it hide? The answer is more terrifying than you can imagine. We'll also reveal if our previous story, The Vanishing of Flight Aurora 17, is true or fictional at the end of this video. In the early 1900s, Carthem Manor was a place of luxury and wealth. It was the home of the Carthem family, known for their power, influence, and deep connections to high society. But as years passed, rumors started to spread about strange events happening on the estate. People spoke in hushed voices about the house's eerie atmosphere, the sound of chanting in the woods at night, and the strange disappearance of several townspeople. The most chilling part of Carthem Manor's story is the cult. No one really knew who they were or what they wanted, but people began to whisper about them. They were always seen around the manor, often dressed in dark robes, speaking in a language no one could understand. They had a deep connection to the Carthem family, but their presence was never openly acknowledged. So, who were they? What was their purpose? And why did they gather at Carthem Manor in secret? Let's start with the history. The Carthem family, led by Lord Theodore Carthem, were once respected figures in their town. Their wealth came from shipping and trade, and they lived comfortably in the sprawling manor surrounded by beautiful gardens and forests. But as time went on, the family grew more secretive. They stopped attending social events, and visitors to the manor were few and far between. The house itself seemed to change. The gardens became overgrown, and the once grand estate turned into a dark, looming structure. It was around this time that the first rumors of a cult began. People started noticing strange lights at night, flickers of movement behind the windows that didn't seem like normal human activity. But it was what happened next that truly made people nervous. A man named Jonathan Hale, a local historian, began investigating the strange happenings at Carthem Manor. He was a curious, fearless man, but he quickly became obsessed with the mystery surrounding the Carthem family. Hale spoke to the town's oldest residents, many of whom had lived there their whole lives. They spoke of Lord Theodore's strange behavior, how he had started to look more gaunt and sickly. Some even claimed to have seen him wandering the woods late at night, mumbling to himself. But the most disturbing stories came from people who had been to the manor itself. One local woman, Alice Monroe, recalled attending a party at Carthem Manor when she was younger. She described the strange atmosphere at the event. Guests were quiet, almost as if they were afraid to speak. The Carthem family had guests, but there was an unsettling sense of distance between them and the others. Alice recalled seeing a group of people in black robes moving through the hallways, walking as though they were part of something important. But what? What were they doing at Carthem Manor? It wasn't until Hale found the town's forgotten records that he uncovered something chilling. Hidden in the pages of old documents was evidence of a secret society that had operated under the Carthem family for decades. It wasn't just a group of people meeting in secret. They had rituals. They had ceremonies. They believed in something beyond the physical world. Hale found mentions of symbols, strange markings that had been carved into the walls of Carthem Manor itself. Symbols linked to ancient rituals and practices meant to summon unknown forces. The most disturbing part was a letter Hale found from Lord Theodore Carthem himself. It read, "We are nearing the final stages of our work. The ritual will be completed soon. Those who are meant to join us will know when the time is right. The darkness will embrace us all." The more Hale dug, the more he realized that the cult was connected to the very foundation of the Carthem family. The rituals they performed weren't just for show. They were meant to open a door to something else, something dark. And the people involved weren't just followers. They believed wholeheartedly in the power of what they were doing. But before Hale could uncover more, he disappeared. One night, He left his house with his research in hand, but he never returned. His disappearance was another mystery added to the list of strange happenings surrounding Carthem Manor. The local authorities launched an investigation, but nothing ever came of it. Hale's research was lost, and the town was left in the dark once again. Years passed, and Carthem Manor continued to stand, its windows dark and silent. The Carthem family, along with their secret cult, faded into history. The manor was left to decay, with only the stories remaining. But then, in the 1970s, the strange occurrences around Carthem Manor started again. People began to report seeing figures in the windows at night. Shadows moved behind the glass. Others claimed to have heard chanting coming from the estate. Some even said they were followed after leaving the area late at night, always feeling like they were being watched. A group of young people, curious about the mystery, decided to visit the manor in the summer of 1973. They broke into the old estate, hoping to find answers. What they discovered inside was far worse than they could ever have imagined. They reported seeing strange symbols carved into the walls, identical to those Hale had found years before. But this time, there was something different. In the center of one of the rooms, they found an altar. It was old, covered in dust, but still unmistakable. And on that altar were objects that looked eerily like offerings, human-like figures, blood-stained cloth, and other items that looked like they had been used in some kind of ritual. As they explored deeper, they heard chanting. The sound echoed through the halls, sending them into a panic. They ran through the manor, trying to escape, but every door seemed to lead them further into the darkness. The sound of footsteps followed them, growing louder with every turn. It was as if the manor itself was alive, pulling them deeper into its twisted history. They finally managed to escape, but one of them, a young man named Eric, was missing. His friends tried to return to find him, but when they reached the manor again, it was as if he had never been there. No trace of Eric remained. In the years that followed, stories about the cryptic cult of Carthem Manor continued to circulate. People swore they saw the figures of robed individuals standing near the mansion, watching anyone who dared to approach. The cult had never been fully uncovered, and the true purpose behind their rituals remained a mystery. Some say the cult still exists, operating in the shadows, continuing the work that Lord Theodore Carthem and his family began so many years ago. Others believe the manor itself is cursed, the dark energy that was summoned by the cult still lingering in the air, drawing those with curiosity and fear into its grasp. What do you believe happened at Carthem Manor? Was it a cult trying to summon something from another world? Or was it all just an elaborate hoax? Whatever the truth may be, the cryptic cult of Carthem Manor remains one of the most chilling mysteries to this day. The story of the vanishing of Flight Aurora 17 that we uploaded is entirely fictional. There has been no record of such a flight or incident in aviation history. The events described, such as the disappearance of a modern aircraft without any trace, and the mysterious theories and disappearances related to the flight are purely imaginative. This story does not reflect any real-life aviation events or investigations, and it appears to be a work of fiction created for entertainment purposes. Subscribe this channel and show your support.